Hello, and welcome to our Bible study on the Ten Commandments, where in each lesson we will look at a different commandment, a word that will help guide our discussion and give better clarity into that commandment, and then some points to consider as we live our daily lives. The commandment we're going to talk about today is the Fifth Commandment, you shall not murder. And the word that's going to help guide our discussion today is the word premeditation. A lot of times when we think about murdering, we think of just going out and killing somebody. But there are times where God says that there is not a violation of that commandment. When we're defending our family or defending ourselves or perhaps going and defending our country. But the spirit of this commandment is where when we break it, we are intentionally going out with the idea that we want to go and do harm or intentionally harm somebody. And so it's a premeditated act from us against somebody else. A couple of points to consider as we think about this commandment. One, we must fight the urge to lash out at those around us. We get it. Disagreements happen. Frustrations happen. But we have to be very careful that those frustrations or those times where we get angry do not lead to something harmful that we're doing against somebody else and ultimately would lead us to murder them. We want to consider how the Lord intervenes in our circumstances, how God through Jesus Christ can call us to peace, that He can provide peace if we allow Him. How when we get upset or we get frustrated, we can look towards the message of grace that our Lord gives to us, and it can give us an idea of how we are called to react and how we are called to live in harmony with those around us. It can be a hedge of protection against the idea of us doing anything premeditated in order to hurt or harm those around us. Point number 2. Murder speaks to how we view ourselves in community and society. Sometimes we think we have all of the authority and that we have the right to do whatever we want. When we start questioning the authority of others, or we start questioning the role of authority in our lives, it becomes a very slippery slope in which we can justify the actions or the reactions that we have against other people. Ultimately, one of those actions or reactions may be murder, and we can be tempted, or we can attempt to justify our actions when truly there is no justification for what we have done. We have violated the Fifth Commandment. And point number 3, the Fifth Commandment should call everyone to consider the sanctity of life. We should all be concerned with the sanctity of life, whether it be at the moment of conception for a baby or child in the womb, all the way through if somebody is in the penal system and may be sentenced to death. We need to consider all of the reasons behind why we do what we do and how we want to help correct those around us. But we should always, according to the Fifth Commandment, hold life in the highest regard. And if we look towards the Fifth Commandment for guidance and think about the way that our Lord has spoken peace to us, it will give us better clarity and ways to consider how we uphold the sanctity of life. Hope this has been helpful in your thinking on the Fifth Commandment.